Okay, so what is a limit? A limit is a very easy topic. We just have to understand what it means. So a limit is a bad word for asking a simple question, which asks, what happens when I get really close to? What does it mean? For example, I can ask, what is the limit when I get really close to 1 at this function? Okay, that's kind of obvious because if I plug in 1, I'll see that as I get closer to 1, the answer would be 4. Okay, so you can do that. I mean, it's not very effective, but you can do this. So where do I need a limit? Where do I want to ask what happens when I get really close to places? Well, when we talk about places I can't get to, for example, I can ask what's the limit when x gets closer and closer to infinity. I can never get to infinity, but I can ask what happens when I get closer to infinity. And then the question has a meaning, okay? So now I can ask what happens when I get closer to infinity? Well, x becomes infinity, so infinity squared becomes infinity. And in this case, I get infinity. So we use the limit in places we can't actually get to. And the most common places are positive and negative infinity. Another very common place is the domain because, for example, I can't get to 1 in this function because it's not well defined. I can ask what happens when I get closer to 1, and then we'll see you can ask it about it what happens when I get closer to the left or the right. But it's not important. The important thing is the limit is a big word that just says what happens when I get really close to. And we use it usually when we talk about places we can't get to, which is positive infinity, negative infinity, and domain points.